Now, this is exciting. It's heading into next season. The St. Louis Blues have multiple prospects poised to break into the lineup heading into camp as we get huge updates on key prospects ready to go into the prospects showcase to show the St. Louis Blues exactly why they are fit to be on this team. We're going to break down these prospects, why Blues fans should be fired up, and so much more later on this episode. Before we get into that, we're trying to reach our goal of 4,000 subscribers, just 46 away. If you guys are enjoying this daily Blues content and you want to stay up to date on everything to do around the team, from prospects, game recaps, trades, reports, anything you can think of, you can catch right here on Blues Digest. So make sure to go down and hit that free subscribe button. But with that, Darius, let's just go straight into where we have been talking. Listen, the prospect showcase is coming up in just 3 days, from the 12th to 14th in Minnesota. We're going to see some of the top prospects around this Blues teams take on some talents. Now, the big thing is you can go through the lineup. Obviously, it's covered by Justin Carbonneau, probably going in as the top guy to watch. But one name that we've seen a lot in the comments is Zach Dean. Now, Zach Dean came back in the Barbashev trade to the Vegas Golden Knights, a 30th overall pick in 2021. Dean has not really lived up to that first round potential. We've seen 11 games, 4 points in Springfield. This year in the AHL, he dealt with injuries, coming back, scoring a goal. But what is your thoughts on Zach Dean? Listen, we'll get into how he fits into this lineup, what the implications are after the signings this year. But what is your overall thoughts on Zach Dean trying to make his way to the NHL?
Zach Dean is a very interesting one. Like you said, hasn't really lived up to his potential and where he was drafted, and then obviously was included in that trade to the Vegas Golden Knights, or sorry, I should say, coming back to the St. Louis Blues from the Vegas Golden Knights. But if you take a look at his numbers, I mean, we saw it in the comments. A lot of people were saying, hey, don't forget about Zach Dean, or the Zach Dean disrespect is crazy. Not disrespecting him. I just think that there's a lot of other prospects who are younger that are probably ahead of him now at this point, which is, not necessarily a good thing to say, right? So obviously you want to see this player succeed, but I think this is going to be a very crucial training camp for this player, prospect showcase as well, to see the steps that are being taken to take the next step to obviously the AHL level, right? But can he be a dominant force at the AHL level? Is he even close to some of the other Blues prospects? And does he have a future in the NHL? This is a very crucial training camp, I think, for this player. If you look at last season or 2 seasons ago, not the greatest numbers in the AHL, 14 points in 49 games. But last year, some more encouraging numbers. It looked like he was on pace for a little bit of a better season. Obviously dealt with some injury troubles, like you alluded to, Mark. Take a shot if you are subscribed to the channel. But again, he had, I think, a better season last year in terms of point production. But again, it only played 11 games, dealt with some injury troubles. That was a beautiful goal as well, set up by Stenberg, who's another name to watch and another player to watch. But should be pretty exciting. Still relatively young. We'll see what he's able to bring to the table. But of course, the last couple seasons, I just don't think have gone the way that obviously I'm sure he envisions, but the team as well. And I think this is, I don't want to say his last chance, but I'm telling you, I'm going to say it for the third time, this is a crucial training camp for this player, a make or break one, to see where he stands in this organization with so many good young prospects coming up through the system, through the AHL as well, and some guys knocking on the door already of the NHL.
Because I think the biggest thing is we're looking at a Blues team that did need help down the middle. Now, Doug Armstrong went out, did an incredible job. Pius Suter coming in, Nick Bukestad. Adding some elite talent down the middle kind of makes no room for a guy to crack into this lineup. Now, with Zach Dean, he's probably a little farther ahead with his development than some of the Blues prospects coming through the system. But the biggest thing is, like you said, this is a prospect that needs, one, a healthy season and a dominant season for the Blues to even look at a possible call-up. Now listen, if they go out and move Pius Suter to a winger position, if Nick Bukestad goes into the middle six as a winger, there is a chance that maybe Zach Dean gets some play on the Blues. We've seen the 9-game sample size coming in with the Blues when he first broke into the league. But the big thing with Zach Dean is he's going to have to prove his potential, prove that he can stay healthy with a full season and dominate. Or if not, I could see Doug Armstrong kind of dangling him around in a trade piece where he looks at another team and says, hey, we can throw in a former first-round pick that is still very young. Maybe he has a bounce back with you guys, just a new look, a new system, maybe a team that wants him in the NHL. But Blues fans, what is your thought thoughts on Zach Dean? He was a big part of the Barbershop trade coming back, the headlining piece of this coming back. And what is your initial thoughts on him possibly breaking into this lineup? But it goes straight into the second player today, where we're going to talk on Theo Lindstein. Now, with Lindstein coming over, playing in the Swedish league for the entirety of his career, he wants to break into camp, and we'll touch on that report as well. But the big thing is a young defenseman playing in a professional league with former NHL players, current players in the Swedish league that are dominating as well. What is your thoughts on his development, and what is your thoughts on his team with the future of the Blues?
You need a player like this in your organization, I think. A nice shutdown defenseman. A lot of people are drawing comparisons, and we talked about it briefly before on the channel, to Victor Hedman, to Lidstrom. Is he going to turn into those players? We don't know, right? But there are signs there, and a lot of people are drawing those comparisons, which I think is great company, first of all. But you need a guy like this in your organization. Besides all of that stuff, a very fun name to stay as well. So excited to see if he can make the NHL one day. But like you said, already playing against men, playing professional hockey, right? That's something that you can't scoff at, right? That's something that a lot of guys, they go through the junior ranks. Maybe they come over to play junior in the CHL. Maybe they go the college route, all of these things. This is a guy who's already playing pro hockey. So I think that his development might be a little bit faster, right? In terms of getting used to certain systems, getting used to physicality, all of that stuff at the pro level here in North America. So I think the sky is the limit for a player like this. This is, I think, the definition of a hidden gem within an organization. This guy, I think, is going to be an NHL player at some point. Is it next year? Probably not, but I'm excited to see again, and something I talked about yesterday, how does he mix in with some of the other prospects in, the prospect showcase and obviously training camp as well? Like, what is the level here? How does he fare against guys like a Justin Carbonneau, let's say? How far along is he in his development? That's something that I'm very excited to see over the course of the next week, I guess, at this point, because it does start in just a couple days time now. So pretty exciting. Again, I think that you need a guy like this in the organization. I can see him on the left side at one point. We were kind of talking about, again, we hope that, the timeline kind of matches up, but a nice little yin and yang pairing of maybe him and Mayu at some point would be very cool if that were to work out. If not, they can go and they can have a shutdown pairing defense pairing there with him on the left side. I think that would be a lot of fun as well. But ultimately, I'm just excited to see like how he fares against other guys that are, around his age and similarly, along in their development. So that's going to be very exciting to watch.
And listen, this article is going to be down below as well, but he does go into, and this is from a few weeks ago, that the next step, I'm going to come over for camp here in September and do my best here to see what happens. Let's see after camp. The big thing is he wants to break into this team. He wants to get into Springfield. He wants to get into the Blues organization. The ceiling is super high for this kid, and I think he's underrated, as he's not putting up flashy numbers like we see some other prospects doing. But what is your thoughts, Blues fans, on all these prospects? Where do you think they fit within this team in the next 1, 2, 3 years? What is your thoughts on the development of these guys? Are you excited for the future? Because listen, we are super pumped about it. Go down and leave a comment down below. And speaking of comments, we'll go straight into comments today. And this is coming from Tim's, and he says, great show as usual. Justin Carbonneau looks like Matthew Chuck or Dylan Holloway. Can't wait to see him. And of course, a double topic today where we see Bull in the China shop. We gotta add this in as well. But what is your thoughts? Who is your highest ceiling prospect? Is it Justin Carbonneau? Is it Lindstein? Zach Dean? Let us know all down below. And you can be featured on comment today. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back in another episode, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark, and my co-host, Darius. Take care.